upon Mr. Jim Coleman as first speaker against the motion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. I ask this House to reject the motion that the House has confidence in the current executive administration in the White House. The reason why we need to reject this motion is because we're at 10.5% unemployment. President Obama, he's a good-looking guy, he's nice, everybody says he's smart, he's educated, but he just doesn't know how to run this kind of economy. And the reason why is that when he came to office, all he really knew how to do was make a lot of speeches and write books. Didn't have any understanding of how to really go out there to really manage the economy by owning a business and paying taxes. He didn't even spend time when he was in the Senate. When he won the Senate, 2 days after he won, he started campaigning for everybody else because he just didn't like to have to govern and to have to negotiate with other senators to do the right things for the American people. So all of a sudden, now he became president, he made all these great promises, and for a president to have the majority both in the House and also in the Senate, and to deliver the kind of results that we currently have, 10.5% of Americans, of which in New York you've got 25% down in New York City, north of where we are right now all the way up to Buffalo, you're looking at 30 and 35%, jobs that aren't coming back, New York's own life support, we're number one in all the wrong ways, and he's still talking about President Bush in the past. He needs to focus on doing some key things really that are going to turn around this economy. Why not help the American people directly? Why come up with $1 trillion to give David Patterson the money he's doing, that what they're doing up there in Albany is an absolute train wreck, as well as across the country. They're doing it in every state house. That money hasn't gotten out to the American people. He spent $800 billion on a stimulus package when we could have taken that same or even half of the amount of money and given every working family $5,000 to help them to get caught up in a rebate check, to get caught up on their house payments so they could keep their homes, and to stimulate this economy. A lot of my friends say, well, they would have just gone to Walmart and spent that money. Good. Please go to Walmart and spend the money. Please go out and put a down payment on a car, because that would stimulate the economy. That's giving money directly to the economy. On top of that, why didn't President Obama come up with a way to help small businesses and giving them the incentives to be able to put money back into growing their business so that they can hire people? He could have done that by getting rid of, for the first 2 years, payroll taxes.
Would you say all these problems that you're addressing now just began in Mr. Obama's administration, or didn't he inherit some of these problems from a two-term administration of Mr. Bush?
Ma'am, 12 months ago, unemployment in the United States was 7.5%. Right now, it's 10.5%. That's going in the opposite direction. On top of that, he spent $1 trillion, and we're right now at the highest unemployment that we've ever had since the
Point of
Depression.
information. Unemployment is a lagging indicator. Therefore, the fact that unemployment, when he began with 7.5% and now it's 10.5%, is still not going to be it's not necessarily his fault, because that necessarily was already being
Point of information.
You talk about a lagging indicator. You go out here on the street, ask the people in this room right now if they want to deal with that lagging indicator. That's why Scott Brown won 2 or 3 weeks ago, because the American people are saying F, Mr. President, F Pelosi, F Reid, it's time to go.
Point of information. It's funny, when the Democrats are in and it's 10% unemployment, that's just a lagging indicator. If the Republicans are in there, what the hell is Republicans doing?
If George Bush or McCain, if John McCain would have won, we'd be marching in Washington. You'd have people going crazy about this unemployment.
Now, you were mentioning tax cuts before. What about the tax cuts that put in place by the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, the $1.5 billion? Would those be the kinds of tax cuts that you're looking for from the president's?
We should have given more tax cuts, especially to small business owners, to give them the relief so they could put that money back in their business to grow it. The only way this economy is going to be turned around is to help small businesses to grow so they can hire people. They're the only ones hiring. IBM and everybody else, they're laying people off.
I would like to know where my tax cut and stimulus check is, because I haven't gotten one.
It has not. You have to be broke and you have to be on welfare to be able to get the feel of what President Obama's offering. Americans, we don't want more welfare. We want good jobs. We want to hold on to our house. We want to be able to send our kids to college. And we don't want the president focused on taking control of our healthcare system. We want it to continue to be free, where we still have choice and selection. We want the government out of our lives, not in our lives.
Regarding healthcare, I believe that every person should have health coverage. It's the same rights that every American have a right for education. Every American have a right for defense forces to protect us. Okay. My question to you is, okay, why do you feel, okay, that that it's fine to spend money on education and defending our borders and our police, but it's not fine for the same American to have the same health coverage? Why some Americans entitled to it because they can afford it, because employer pays, and some Americans that don't have this type of a coverage, okay, maybe should die earlier. You understand?
I'll answer the question.
Yes, let me, Mr. Coleman,
Yes.
see. There, go.
Okay. The reason President Obama pushed this big health care program, he was talking that there are 46 million Americans that don't have health care tonight. Really, it's down to 10 million. Those 10 million really are qualified to be on the Medicaid program. The others, most of them, you've got a combination of people that are making $60,000 or more, who've made a decision that they don't want to have health care, and many of them are illegal aliens. And we don't want to have to cover the cost of people that can afford to cover. What we really want, what we need in this country, is to be able to have it to where it's highly competitive, where the cost goes down, and where it's market-driven, and where Americans have good jobs, working for great small and mid-sized companies, and to where they can afford to select, just like President Obama's got good health care, himself and his family, they can afford to have it because they've got good jobs. That's what we need. We don't need more welfare.
Wouldn't a public option actually be more competition for the health insurance industry? And why are they afraid of more competition?
Anytime you get government involved, you're going to have a disaster. We need government to do a couple of things: protect us. We need Obama to remain strong on going after Iran and having a strong defense department. But we don't need the government in the healthcare and hospital
Point of
industry.
information, what do you call Medicare and Medicaid, one of the most successful government programs in history?
I don't know. How can it be successful? How can it be successful when 30% of it is Medicaid waste and fraud? In New York, we're at over $18 billion a year on Medicaid waste and fraud, and it's a train wreck. We don't need more welfare. We need good jobs. Democrats are for always giving everybody welfare. On the other side, for us conservatives and Republicans, we're focused on stimulating the economy and creating good jobs where people can be independent and hold on to their house. Yes?
Point of information. Could you explain to the audience the difference between an entitlement and a right?
Absolutely. An entitlement, I was just in a meeting on this last night, an entitlement requires me to be able to say, or if I'm the government, I'm going to take 10 cents out of your pocket because you don't need it, and I'm going to give you the 10 cents. And the reason why she's getting the 10 cents is because she voted for me. That's an entitlement. A right is the basic core principle. A right to free speech. A right to be able to assemble. A right to choose the religion of your choice. That doesn't cost anybody in this room a dime, but these are basic human rights that I want our country to protect. We don't need more entitlements.
No, your points are out of order. Mr. Coleman, continue.
My sister tonight, Retta, in Lexington, Kentucky, I told her I was going to talk about her. She reminds me of Sarah Palin. She said, "Why are you telling everybody I'm like Sarah Palin?" I said, "You take care of yourself. You're a self-made woman. You're tough. You get men in your life straightened out. You take care of your family. You work hard every day, and you know how to shoot a gun." And I said, "Retta, you are what we need." If Retta was in the White House, Retta's a single mom, has 2 kids, and she's sending her daughter to college. Now, Retta needs a brand new car tonight, but Retta does not go out and deficit spend like President Obama to go out and get a brand new car. She manages her budget. She lives within having to drive to work in a 13-year-old car every day so that she can hold on to her house. She took on a part-time job on the weekends and during the evenings at a retail store so that she could make up for the misses and that they need for their household budget. Now, if Retta can do that and operate and be able to keep her house, not have debt, get shook up if you got $200 on a credit card. And the reason why is that he is focused on really turning America into a socialist country. That's just the bottom line. He truly in his heart believes that if everybody worked for the government and if everybody had a business, if it could report to him, then everything would be just fine. I totally disagree with that. And it really is proven in our economy when you've got 10.5% unemployment. He tells everybody he's got a B. I think he meant D, because we're at 10.5% unemployment. Iran's out of control. About 13 months ago, we had the axis of evil. We've got the axis of friends right now. to where North Korea, Iran, and Iraq, they don't give a hoot about scared about us. Al-Qaeda right now is still alive. You've got people riding on airplanes to where he hasn't done a darn, hadn't even talked about national security since he's been in office, till that little boy was on that plane a couple weeks ago and put a big scare during the Christmas holidays.
Time of the Honorable Gentleman
I vote
expired.
F.